move might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male G-O-D, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's shaking, everybody? Welcome to Relations. My name is Kana.
What's shaking? What's going on, man? It's 51 Spade,
What's wrong
Alpha
with what's
Male
shaking?
God. I'm just saying.
This is an early indication that he's gonna get on my nerves.
I'm just saying we're shaking. But hey, if I'm on your nerve, that's a good thing because I'm the ninja you love to hate. Alpha Male God 51 Spade, what it is. Welcome to Relations.
Yes, we're gonna jump right into our two subjects today. The first one being the pros and cons of setting an ultimatum with your spouse. And the second is how to handle your partner's fetish. So we have one intense and one that's fun. Here we go. We're going to jump right into the first subject of the night, and that's the pros and cons of setting ultimatums. I thought about this out loud earlier today, and I already knew I was going to come in strong saying, even though ultimatum is a very negative word, sometimes it's necessary. Period.
Necessary how?
Necessary if you have standards. Necessary if you've dealt with something over and over and over over again.
But if someone gives you an ultimatum, you're saying that you're fine with that?
Yeah, it just depends on what the ultimatum is.
No, I don't mean does it depend. I'm saying, are you fine with someone giving you an ultimatum? Not a, just
I
thinking.
To be okay with it.
No, you don't.
Ultimatums are everyday life. Everyday life. Wear your seatbelt or get a ticket. That's an ultimatum. Part of being an adult is dealing with ultimatums every single day of your life. So to deal with it in a relationship is pretty damn normal.
But the question is, if someone is giving you an ultimatum, you're just all right in general, just knowing that it's an ultimatum.
I have to be okay with it. It's because ultimatums ultimately come from a standard that someone has set for themselves, a rule that they have for a relationship. So if someone keeps bending the rules, there has to be a consequence. Well, if you say we're a consequence, then next in line is ultimatum. Stop doing this or else. It's just like your kids. Hey, get good grades or else I'm going to take away the game. That's an ultimatum. So ultimately, we've been dealing with ultimatums since we were children.
I'm not talking about dealing with ultimatums, but I'm just me thinking to myself, when you're dealing with ultimatums, because it has a negative content on such things, I'm going to say they typically go left. Not all the time, but majority of the time, they always go left. Because I'll say more people are more self-efficient and do what they want to do more than someone giving them an ultimatum and then expecting it to go as planned. Like not too long ago, it was a couple that I really didn't care, but overhearing the woman saying that she gave the guy an ultimatum to move in. And I was saying to myself, that's going to go left immediately.
So the ultimatum is what? Move in or the relationship is over? Because
I don't know.
What is the actual ultimatum?
But I don't know. I can't really say whether from her. I don't you anymore. I don't know from her standpoint of what it might have been. If I had to speculate, I would say that she's going to go the ultimate route if it's an ultimatum and say, well, you either move in by this date or this relationship over, because that's typically how it goes.
Right.
I've been given, I think, an ultimatum at one point in time where the woman was like, it was like weird too, because a lot of females watch like Sex and the City and shit like that. I actually found out like that's where that ultimatum had actually came from. So it was an ultimatum where she was like, if you want this relationship, like be on this bridge at such and such date or some shit like that. And I didn't even show up for that shit. Like, it's like it's not fucked up, because the thing about ultimatums too, I also feel like they also drop into a category of like a test. And some people do test relationships, but it's kind of like if you're testing, I feel like you kind of like playing a game. And if you gonna give an ultimatum, in her case, I'm just gonna speak about this. If you're gonna give an ultimatum, at least make sure we in a good spot. Like, we wasn't in no good spot, so anything that you basically asked me to do, it was gonna be a no. Like, she
didn't have any bargaining chips.
It wasn't really that she didn't have any bargaining chips. It's just like, one, I just don't believe in ultimatums. Me myself personally, like, someone giving me an ultimatum, I'm probably gonna go the other route, probably 100%. Out of the time, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna almost be like a Jerry Springer test. 99.9 of the time, I'm gonna always go the other route. And the thing about it that's kind of probably crazy is how I view relationships. Sometimes it's like I'm probably judging who I'm with more than they actually think. So sometimes they haven't even accumulated up enough shit. Like, I probably spotted out a bunch of shit that I really hate that you do. See how you operate and deal with other people. See how you operate with dealing with other people and then dealing with me. So your ultimatum, really at the end of the day, is probably going to be null and void with me. Because I watch women do way more shit for other people, and then in a relationship do fucking less, but then want something. So you giving me an ultimatum, I just be like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Well, that would be an issue for most women, because when they get to a point where they're issuing an ultimatum, it's because they're frustrated and because what you're doing goes against their standards. Especially a big subject as in moving in, marriage. Those are all life choices. Those are all things that we have intended to do since we were babies. So,
who fault is that, though?
What do you mean?
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, don't.
Go ahead, continue. I'm just saying, but that sounds like I'm just saying that sounds like a personal problem, though.
No, wait, hold on. Standards aren't a personal problem. Standards are standards.
Well, hold on.
And everybody you date is going to have them.
Hold on. Not talking about standards. I was talking about the statement that you made. You said we've been doing that since since a baby or a child, this and that. The reason I'm understanding, I just want to clarify initially what I'm talking about. Okay, so you come out the womb and you're playing Ken and Barbie. Okay, I often hear the statement that women are way more mature than men, and to me it's really because that's how y'all are raised. You're raised to be like, you look at Ken and Barbie, you see a relationship, so your mind is focused on a relationship since a child. When you're talking about a man, men don't even focus on a relationship until they're like 18 and above. For majority of the time, that leap is really because we're programmed to do sports. We're doing other things that doesn't even consist of relationships. So even when we get like old enough to that, the woman is like way past that in the relationship, mind. So that's why I say like it could be a personal thing for you. Not saying anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that I don't think women look at it that way like we're trying to figure out how to fuck around 13, 14, 15 years old. So now your mind goes from that to just sex. So that's not a relationship. That's just like, how can we get some pussy? Then by the time you get to like 18, 19, you're still in an early stage of probably your early relationships, like when you don't even really know what the fuck to do in a relationship. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be with this woman and I guess I'm supposed to live with her. You know what I'm saying? And depending on your background, who knows how the fuck that went. But in your parents' base, so that's why I say it could be based.
And I get that, and I sympathize for men who have to, essentially what you're saying is grow up too soon based on the relationships that they're forming with girls who are way more advanced than them in their emotional mind. I get that, and I'm sorry, but that's not going to make me, if I had a daughter, say, well, just put your standards to the side. That doesn't work for me. Everybody has to have them.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you an idea of, just like in the category of moving in, marriage. Nobody wants to be someone's fucking girlfriend for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Not even really 10, if they can help it. That's just some women. Mm-hmm. So it's for her to say, look, I'm not trying to be your 20-year girlfriend. You got to make a move. That's an ultimatum that I feel like is necessary. Even though the word ultimatum is in negative context and negative connotation because it's you do this or else, but what else are we to do? Settle just because you have those
Most
issues? Do. Most do, but I'm saying I want to put out there that they don't. Most do, and even if they gave an ultimatum, still will end up unmarried.
Settling
but it's
anyway.
okay. It is okay to verbalize those standards, and it's okay to tell your spouse that these are my personal goals.
I could ride with that, but saying this is my personal goal versus an ultimatum is totally fucking different. Like saying these are my goals, like listen,
but essentially it is an ultimatum, but it's in a nice way. So I think what I'm trying to do is make the word ultimatum not sound so negative because it's necessary. So I don't want to tell women that it's negative because we try so hard every day not to be negative. But that's necessary to let a person know what your standards are, and they have to be in line with your goals to be Mrs. Whoever.
So let me ask you a question. Okay. So let's say you're in a relationship and it's 5 years. Okay. 5 years and went by. Okay. And you said that your goal has been to marry this guy. Okay. What if he says that in the 5 years he just wakes up and you're like, you know what? I don't want to marry you. Like I don't even think I don't even want to get married. What then?
Then you have some thinking to do.
What happens to your ultimatum though? I'm saying
your ultimatum doesn't go away. Now you have to make a decision, and it's a hard one to have to make. But you have to make a choice. By him saying that and you choosing to stay in that relationship, you're basically saying it's okay for us to never get married. And so it's easy to be happy in that space because the only thing that's rocking the boat is you want to get married. So you could essentially end up forever never becoming someone's wife. And that's a big choice to make. That's as big as, hey, I'm not going to have any more kids. I'm not going to have kids. That's a big life decision that you will think about when you're 60 and 70 years old because things will change significantly and you would maybe think back to what if I would have had children. So settling with somebody who's saying, hey, I don't want to get married. Hey, I don't want to have children. You're making a life decision. And I think it's okay for a person to take a step back, take a beat and say, is this okay with me? Because there's a lot of resentment in life choices like that.
So you're essentially okay with people making ultimatums, just in general, because you think that's just way of life.
I think necessary ultimatums and big life decisions like moving in, marriage, having kids, those are big enough. Even moving, I think. If a guy says, hey, move to California with me, but you're not his wife, I think it's okay for you to say, hey, I'm kind of uncomfortable with going across the country with you, uprooting, I'm leaving my family, and I'm just your girlfriend. You realize if anything happens to you medically or me medically, they don't have to tell you anything. They don't have to tell me anything. We have no rights to each other. It's just done if one of us should die on the way to the grocery store one day. I've invested too much in this relationship to have to suffer through that. So that alone makes it a standard for us to say, yes, that's my husband, or hey, that's my wife, for things like that.
Make that business decision. Because that's what that marriage is, a business decision.
It definitely is. Now let's talk about once you get in that marriage and you find out the motherfucker got a fetish that you just ain't down with. Let's talk about that. It's the less intense subject of the night. I'll let you start us off, Alpha Male.
Fetishes?
Yeah.
I mean, on my perspective, is my fetish is gonna get done regardless of the fact. I have a thing with choking bitches. So if I want to choke, I just want to choke during sex. I want to spank during sex. I want to pull out whips during sex. I like doing those type of things. So I suggest anybody that don't like them not be with me.
Okay,
but I'll say this too. And even if they don't like them, then you better get me a bitch that like them, because like either way it go, my fetish is gonna go down.
Definitely. I'd like to say this because I have some very thin lines that I just will not cross. Even though I'm a freak, there are some things I'm just not into. I do not hold my spouse accountable for his fetishes. Whatever it is that I'm not going to do, I encourage another woman to come in and have at it. But I don't mind that.
But all fetishes ain't. But I'd also feel like all fetishes ain't good either too, because It just depends on what fetishes are they out in the open, because I feel like a lot of time when people have fetishes, you don't know what they fetish really is. Like those fetishes, they.
So you're talking about the ones that they covet. That's
well, I don't know necessarily if the word is covet. It's like I watch porn. I don't necessarily watch porn with my girl, not because I try to hide that I watch porn or anything like that. It's just either her ass not around, and especially in today's age, you can kind of watch porn on your phone, not like. You know what I'm saying? Like
so it's a one-on-one. It's a more personal experience.
It's not even really like a one-on-one thing. It's just like if she watch porn, I'm probably not even gonna tell, or it even come up. But I'm talking about like you have situations where people hide fetishes from their family. They hide fetishes from their husband, or they try to make it go smooth for other people. So to give an example, is just like if, let's say for instance, like if you're in an interracial relationship, okay, and the family, you're not in an interracial relationship, you're in a regular relationship, but you want an interracial relationship, and your family is just not into it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go from a woman's standpoint. Like I knew a scenario where she married a guy that was white, but she liked black men. So that's what she watched. She watched like interracial porn. So then but that is kept away from your husband. Yeah. And she hid that from her husband, then he, like anybody else, you're going to stumble across it. And then that's when your fetish could become a bad scenario, because now he's looking at you like, differently. I'm not black, but you watch interracial porn.
That would be so awkward.
Exactly. So now your fetish is to the forefront. Now what?
But you know what? I'm sitting here and I'm like, what if I was in that position? What if I'm married to a black man that every time he watched porn, there was a white girl on the screen? I wouldn't feel no different. I would feel like, okay, that wouldn't bother me. So I'm trying to figure out. I get the whole
would bother you.
Thing, but I don't think it would
challenge
bother
you. I challenge you with that. I think it would bother you.
I don't think so.
You know why you're saying that?
Why?
I think because you're basing that decision on that individual. If that individual you knew could probably sway to a white girl and leave you would think differently. You understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes it go by individuals. So I'll just say, for instance, like this. Like not too long ago, I watched. I really want to say like it might have been Walker. He was on a podcast and he said that I would fuck my girl up if another girl was trying to get with her. If she was trying to eat my girl pussy. He doesn't engage in threesomes because he doesn't like the idea of another woman going down on his girl. Now, I'm going to show you something. To me, the reason he thinks that way is because he probably thinks his woman would leave him for another woman.
So it's a threat thing.
Yeah, it's like a threat. Like majority of the time, when I heard him make that statement, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, damn. So he would cheat on her. He would fuck another woman behind her back. But there's no chance of him bringing the girl in because he would now force her to either watch.
And I also think that Tammy may have led him to believe that she may go down that road.
Exactly. I mean, so that's
right. It all depends on the individual
that you with. So that's what I'm saying. So if the guy that you with, if you felt that he would leave me for a white girl, I bet you your mentality would change about him watching white girls. Right. So because in this scenario, that's what I'm saying. The guy is like, I'm not black. You looking at interracial porn, but you're looking at black porn. Yeah. So that changes his whole narrative because he will make statements like, "Oh, you think you black, or you dress black, or you get your nails done like you black, a black girl." So now that shit becomes a different type of scenario because it's like, what the fuck did you marry me for? But
but that's why we're discussing it. Let's see if we could actually rewind real life, and he found out that his wife likes black dick. There are other ways
emphasis on dick.
Because that's what it should be like. It was 2020, man. If I could talk to him for 2 seconds before he did that, because it was probably the doom of that relationship. If I could rewind back to that moment and say, just wait.
I get it.
You know,
but
what
most
would
people
happen
can't,
if
though.
y'all? I know most people can't, but they. Am I correct that they were married?
Yeah.
Am I correct that they had kids together?
Yeah.
Then a conversation about that fetish was worth it.
Not really, because see, this is the thing. What I'm saying, I felt like she could have done that because of also her parents too, because her parents might have not been inviting to
The idea of an interracial
there you go.
relationship.
So she marries the way that her parents want her to marry, and then keep that fetish on the back burner. You understand what I'm saying? So that would cause her to, watch interracial porn, probably cheat here and there. Who knows?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everything from keeping it, coveting the fetish, everything that you progressed on as far as your story, watching the porn, cheating, you naturally progressed to more negative scenarios. So it's never good not to discuss or reveal or expose your fetish in a relationship. It's just not. Because it spiraled out of control from that moment. Nothing good came from her not saying, hey, I fantasize about getting fucked by a black guy. They could have went to the 24-hour sex store that night and bought a black cock. They could buy a black doll that she could fuck, ride right next. You know what I'm saying? There are ways to work through your relationship if your relationship is worth it.
But everybody isn't willing to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Like even though you're saying that, you're speaking from the perspective of someone that is submissive, and you're also not telling that man to be submissive. You're telling him basically that I'm not good enough for you, so we gonna go get you a black dick.
Okay, well then switch it. When you go to a woman and you say, hey, I don't want to have the same meal for the rest of my life, and I want to bring another woman into our bed. It's the same fucking conversation.
I ain't saying anything was right with that conversation, though. It depends on the individual that you like. I'm just saying that each individual make different choices, and different things come across way differently depending on the circumstances. Like, I don't feel like you can tell everybody your fetishes. There are some fetishes that you could be necessarily cool with. Hey, I need my toes sucked. Hey, I need you to suck the taint, you know what I'm saying, underneath my balls. Like, it's a lot of things that people...
But even those things, sometimes you don't have to say it. If you've been in a relationship where now we're talking marriage, there's a level of intimacy. My man has never asked me to do anything extra when it came to going down on him. I explore on my own.
Yeah, but you're talking individually. It don't always go that way. I'm talking about just people that exposes their fetishes. I'm saying why they don't sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy. Like, even though you're saying you might explore certain things. Like, I saw this thing the other day that it was a post, and a woman said that sex starts with, and it was a woman. She said sex start with eating pussy. And I looked at that post and I was like, bullshit. Sex starts with head. You know what I'm saying? Me get my dick sucked. Now, we want to travel to the pussy eating exploration, start date one. We could probably go that way, but I was trying to figure where she got that it started from that. But that just might be her thing. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a woman that likes to be desired and seduced. We do like that,
I mean, that's cooler too, but is it not? I heard that kissing a bitch on the forehead is seductive. That's seduce. Kissing her on her neck, kissing her on her ear, grabbing her by a pussy, as far as Trump say. It's a lot of ways that you can go to seduce an individual.
Okay.
So, I mean,
eating the pussy is a part of the seduction. Keep going.
Yeah, that's from her standards. I'll say this. In majority of my sex escapade, they normally started with head. I never went the route of eating pussy on no female.
That's just your personality, though.
But what I'm saying is because I always felt, I'ma say, I ain't gonna say nah, but I don't know, a lot of porn that I watched always opened with head and not the guy eating pussy. It always started with the unzip of the pants, you know what I'm saying? Dick getting whipped out and her gagging it. And I had and what's crazy is, like, I never really ever asked. Like, majority of the time when it did happen, it was always the woman that went down. Like, I never asked, like, hey, will you suck my dick or some shit like that? Because I don't even like saying that. So it's just like, it just kind of happened that way.
Alpha male, God, all that. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, but I'm just saying, like, you knew the new liberal bitches. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, and I ain't saying
Say your ass
that. I'm not saying anything wrong with that. I'm not saying
They going in on your ass.
I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that I just think it started with some head first.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I never want to come across with what you like is what you like. But that's why we're talking about it. And I find it interesting that you're taking the stance of, hey, you know, some shit just should be swept under the rug. The fetishes.
No, I didn't say swept under the rug. I said you have to know the individual that you're with. So
you have to know the person that you're talking
to. You got to know the individual that
you're with. So you're saying
like,
it's okay to keep it a secret if you're not in the right relationship for that fetish to be exposed.
Okay, yeah. So I give you like example. So like,
why be in it? That's a waste of time.
Because you can't tell somebody.
And my guy says, "Hey, you know, I like boys," and that's just something that I can't deal with. I'm not gonna stay in it and just waste my time.
I hope not.
Because you know what I'm saying. It's never gonna go anywhere. It's never gonna be okay. I'm a basket case. I got it. This is not gonna be a peaceful relationship. So you know, I beg to differ.
But a lot of people
put it out there so that you know who you're with.
Okay, but you're acting like people be in relationships and they don't settle based on the fetish of another person or a fetish of their self.
Some people deal with fetishes because it doesn't completely gross them out. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like maybe going to buy a black cock for your white wife isn't the worst thing in the world. Her leaving you for that black cock is the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not necessarily. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Not necessarily. Because if you're talking about a person's race, ethnicity, you buying a black dick for somebody, gonna fuck with him. And he don't want your ass around. What you mean? Because you're telling him basically that shit you got is okay. It's like that commercial. Just okay? You know what I'm saying? But this nigga, you know, and you gonna be looking at that. And I'm speaking from the man perspective. Like, you can't tell any man certain things. Like is a woman, I think women will deal with a lot less shit.
And a man, most of the men that we're with are gonna say that they're not gonna cry at their wedding. There comes a point where you just have to humble yourself. Come off the throne, homie. It's okay if the woman in front of you or the man in front of you is worth it. If they are worth it, then humble thyself.
But I just said that.
And make the exception.
So you think that someone's gonna humble themselves if they have a pride in their race? You think someone's gonna humble themselves? Do you honestly believe that?
If it's an issue of
religion,
maybe not. Those are bigger things. An issue of religion. I've seen relationships.
Not religion.
I was gonna name that's on the list too. You know, anything that is in the way of a big thing like your parents, race, or whatever, that might be something that you sacrifice. We just watched this. That's
what that's
her
one.
Daughter was a lesbian, and her mom was like, "No, you can't do that. You need to marry a family. I'm leaving you my legacy. I don't want that left to you as a lesbian. I want you to be married." Blah blah blah. Like she said, okay. It was her mother that said, "Hey, go live your life." If it wasn't for that moment, she would have continued living a lie for society.
A lot of people live lies. Sorry. That shit sound good, but you talking in bullshit terms right now. Because a lot of people live lies. You're talking like
as long as they know it's by choice, but that's whack as fuck. You don't have to.
I didn't ask you whether it was whack as fuck. I'm telling you what they do. Like, they live lies. Motherfuckers settle. They settle every goddamn day. A lot of motherfuckers settle inside a relationship and keep shit coveted, keep things that their fetishes, keep everything away from their wives, vice versa, their husband. A lot of people do that shit every goddamn day. And I'm telling you right now, is a man, like, if I'm a Spanish man, white man, whatever the case may be, and you come to me and you're talking about going and get a black dick, we're going to have a fucking problem.
And then that's 50%. The other 50% at the swinger party. The white man watching his wife getting banged by a big black cock because his wife is worth it. Well, I can tell you one thing. Their marriage is worth it.
I can tell you one thing. It ain't 50%, and And you also, I can tell you that right now, it ain't 50%. And I can also tell you that there are very little men that would like to see their women fuck. I'm not saying that it don't fucking happen, but there's very, very few men that's gonna say, you know what, I want you to fuck my wife. I ain't saying it don't happen. I'm just saying it's small.
Okay.
It's small.
Okay, and then Mr. Know-It-All, the percentage of women who are okay with telling another woman, hey, yeah, go fuck my husband.
That percentage is high, like
basically.
But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's high. That percentage is high, just like when we watch. Majority of the time when we watch movies and you watch same sex, it's majority women. It's not majority men.
Not lately.
Well, granted, but majority it's always been woman is woman. And even if they showing it on TV, that doesn't necessarily mean that the people that's watching it is also accepting it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can watch a woman on woman with no problem. I can't watch a man on. I can't watch a man on man. I'm not saying. I'm just saying for my own eyesight. If you want to do it, that's fine. I'm just saying I prefer not to watch it, and it's fine watching a woman. So that's why I'm saying the percentages are different based upon what you're talking about.
But because of that, statistically, we're probably at 50%. If we're not separating the statistics of women to men, we're saying how many people out there in their relationships are saying, okay, cool, I don't like to be strangled. I don't like to be choked. This is Becky. Becky, go for it. No, you can do whatever you want. Y'all good. I'm going to watch.
But that don't mean we're at 50%.
There are a lot of us. And if we're counting the number as a whole,
I don't think it's 50%.
I'm just saying, then if it's not 50, then it's 60.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's, no, I think it's actually lower.
What, 75?
No, you're going the wrong way.
No, 80.
You can do whatever 80? You want. You can do whatever you want 80? To do. Just because I'm gonna tell you, just
99.9.
Just because you sit there and put your chest out, don't mean you right. So I
disagree. What do you guys think?
Of course, you can disagree.
Make sure
it is America.
You are dropping the comments.
You can disagree all you want to.
It's a lot of women out there who are allowing their husbands to go be freaks.
I'm not talking about freaks. I'm not talking about, but I'm not talking about the woman. I said the man
won't humble himself.
No fucking. No, it's not about humbling.
Yes, it is.
It is not about humbling.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's totally about humbling.
How is it about humbling?
Because I just gave that whole speech.
So basically,
it's about saying, you know what, this isn't about me.
You know what tripped me out?
The woman is worth me letting. The woman is worth the exploration. I might not be cool with it, but the bitch like a damn toe suck. I ain't gonna do it. So you get the little Vietnamese motherfucker from down the street at the market, and you let him come over and suck your damn wife toes. The bitch make $85,000 a year. The house paid for. Y'all got 3 cars, 4 fucking kids, and you won't let this little ninja suck on her toes? For what reason? Humble thyself. It's a situation just like that could fix everything. Just because she like her toes suck, so what? And then the Vietnamese dude getting paid. You don't care. Her toes suck. You good. You comfortable. You gonna walk out because she want her toes suck? That's whack.
You can huff. You can puff. You can blow on a motherfucking dick if you want to. Could care less. Just because you talk bad and tough don't mean nothing to me. Do I look like I look like I'm fucking scared? No. Lower that voice down. You know what I'm saying? Talk like a sensible human being for once in your life. Now, really, at the end of the day, if we're gonna talk sensible, that has nothing to do with humbling thyself. What tripped me out? I'll let you talk. So finito, zip it. I'll let you talk. What trips me out a lot of times is that women always talking about where the men at, where the men at. There ain't no real men out here. Blase this and that, and it be motherfucking conversations like that talk and say a man need to humble himself when y'all trying to snatch his fucking nuts from underneath him. That has nothing to do with humbling himself, him just being a man and him having self-pride inside himself. You don't have to let nobody do any fucking thing that's against anything that's gonna bother his mental, not make him happy. If that wife want her toes up, bitch, get going. That would make me way a lot happier than you sitting there talking about me trying to humble myself because this bitch got some fucking fetish. I don't care about none of that shit right there. Someone in the household gotta wear some fucking pants. It's always gonna be a goddamn. It's an anarchy. And it goes that way in every household. Someone wear pants and someone don't. So if she want her toes sucked, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You can go with someone else or go somewhere else if that shit is gonna bother me.
Relationships where there be in the world if it was reversed. And a woman was like, I just can't bear to see you with another woman.
It's a lot of failed, and that's why I said, hold on.
That would be like,
but that's why I also,
a lot of failed motherfucking relationships in the world.
There are, and that's why I told you that the percentage of it is high because there are a lot of failed. There are a lot of failed percentages of marriages and stuff like that.
Based on that, I don't think so. I think if you would have said that in maybe, I don't know, 1990, you might have been right. It's fucking 2020. It's 2020. We just got finished watching this series I want to speak on called Elite on Netflix. And there was actually a high school threesome of 2 men and a girl, 2 boys and a girl, because they were in high school. They were like juniors and seniors, but that was really deep for
a lot of new
and that's in high school.
Let me educate you.
That's why I keep saying like the times we're in are a little bit different, brother.
Let me educate you. Okay? It doesn't really matter what time that you're talking about. My grandma and my granddad still think in their times all the way to the day that they die. Generation X would think the way that they think all the way to the day that they die. The millennials would think a different way, this and that. Now, if you're talking about the internet and TV and what they sell you, hey, no one can stop that. But that doesn't mean that that's going to change a motherfucker thought process. Like if I fuck with a liberal woman, okay? Let's take someone like my cousin. His woman isn't liberal. She can watch every fucking show that there is about threesomes. She can watch everything that's popping out right now. She can watch Twitter feeds. She can do any of the above, and that shit is not gonna change her fucking mind. Know why? Because based upon where she grew up and her mindset, it ain't gonna fucking happen. The reason he comes to me and be like, damn, man, I wish I could get her on board for a threesome. Know why? Because they ain't fucking start that way. Period. So it's not going to change anything based upon what the fuck is going on television.
I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you're in a different time. So the statistics, I do believe, and maybe we should have done our research, maybe when this airs, I'll have the stats, that the number of women who are making exceptions in their relationship for fetishes is very high based on the man that they're married to and their financial situation, whether they have children. You're talking about walking away, and I think I do put a lot of value on relationships. In reference to me and you, when we debate, I put a whole lot on relationships, engagements, marriages, as people who are moving in that direction generally, because those are the big things that you have to deal with when you're talking about getting married. I don't see how getting married and what's your fetish isn't in the same conversation on the same day. You're talking about spending your life with this person. To me, not knowing every inch of his sexual fantasy is me sleeping with the enemy. There's something about my spouse that I don't know, and I don't like that. Something or someone out there has power over me because they know something that I don't about my spouse.
You cannot like it, and that's totally fine. I don't disagree with that, but that's also why I said you tell people get to stepping. And you said, well, why would you just dead that relationship, right?
Right.
Okay, so watch
to
it.
me,
Hold on.
placing value on the person you're in the relationship with.
Let me finish. Okay, so I watched Nikki Bella be with John Cena for damn near 5 years. Okay. And all she screamed about was wanting a baby and getting married. Mm-hmm. He told her from very fucking get-go that I don't want no kids and I don't want to get married. Now, we're going to go my philosophy. Mm-hmm. When I heard that, I said to myself, exit. You need to exit. Mm-hmm. But, no, she ain't want to do it because like most motherfuckers, they start with settle first, which I also said they do. He's older than her. She's younger. Something about mindset. The thing about mindset is there is nothing on this earth that she can do to change his mind. She might think that. She might even say to myself that I can wear him down. But I'm telling you, that shit ain't happening. And it didn't happen. So she went 5 years going that length when I said
She
in the
should've
beginning,
vetted it. She should've
in the
vetted it.
beginning,
Absolutely. But that's not
just
that's
to
first,
dead it.
First of all, that's not a fetish, but I get where you're going with it. That's still a life. That's a life decision. That's somebody who she had to look and say, "Damn, do I want to never have kids?" She didn't have that conversation with herself because you're right.
I understand.
She thought she could change his mind.
I understand that, but the thing about it is that wasn't his fetish. Her fetish, on the other hand, was having a child, getting married, and this and that. And that's why I'm saying that even sometimes, even when people do know, like, your fetishes, you're not your fetishes, things of the sort, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's gonna change that's not gonna change their mind. Some people do have things that they're set in their ways. So some people don't mind divulging.
That's that standard that I was talking about earlier?
Someone don't mind divulging, that information, and then some people do. Because if she would have said, for in the rest of this relationship, I'm just gonna keep asking for a child and get married. If she would have divulged that shit, I'm quite sure she'd have got kicked to the curb.
So she just pretended like that was okay.
A lot of people do.
Didn't pretend like it was okay.
Yeah, a lot of people do, because it be all right in your head, and for a while it was all right in her head until other motherfuckers get involved. Her sister gets involved. You really want kids. You really want to get married. Why are you with this motherfucker? Like he don't want to do that. Then her mama got involved. Listen, you want to get married, he ain't interested. You understand what I'm saying? And now her mind starts to crack and shift a different way. And it's not even really her decision. It's just people pushing her towards the bridge.
People aren't pushing her towards the bridge.
Nothing wrong with that.
People are just reminding her of all the things that she always knew were important to her. Not getting married and not becoming a mother are big, huge life decisions. Her family was 100% right saying to her, "Are you okay with this?" Because that's big. That is big, huge, monstrous. Because those are things, once you're 60 and you just can't have any kids anymore, there's no going back. And there's nothing like that moment where you hit menopause and it's like, okay, it's done. I'm sure probably, I haven't hit it yet, but I'm sure every moment that someone asked you, did you want to be a mom, that you said no, rolls in your head. Because today is the day that it's just too late. And it's not going to happen. So if anybody is listening and they're actually dealing with that, I think it's a really big deal that you just make sure and be as sure as you can be today. Because like you said, people's minds sometimes change. People change their mind every day. But as much as you can, sit down with yourself and make sure that not becoming a mom is okay with you. Not becoming married is okay with you. Because I think while it's early, you could potentially, I feel like, and this is not a perfect world, if you're with the right spouse and you go, the guy says, "Hey, I don't want to get married. I never want to get married." And he exposes that, and she comes and counters that and says, "Well, hey, I don't want to be unmarried." Then it forces both of y'all to make a decision, not just her.
I'm with it.
It forces both of you.
I'm with it.
I'm with it. That's what you have to do.
I'm 100% with it.
Yeah,
like,
that's what has to be done.
Go your own way.
Because at least the other one can't resent. The other one can't say, "Hey, for 5 years,
people gonna still resent.
For 5 years, you made me believe that you were the marriage type. You wanted to get married. You made a big campaign because remember now." Let's assume that the person the woman in the relationship has always set that standard, and that's always been the standard. It wasn't anything new. She wants to be a married person. So she set that standard in the beginning.
She said in the beginning.
Then how did you end up staying with her if it wasn't your standard in the beginning?
Because he said in the beginning when she said it, "I don't want to get married." He said he already had been married before. He don't want kids. So what?
No, I'm saying what if the standards were both matched on that day? You say you don't want to have kids, and she says, "Well, I do." You say you don't want to be married, and she says, "Well, I do." So it forces both of you to make that decision. No one's in the back room saying, "Well, it's all on her." No, both of y'all said, "Well, I don't want to have kids," and she said, "I do." So now both of y'all, not which one basically is gonna push the buzzer first. Because now it actually means somebody has to say something.
But that's what I was saying, that most people settle more than anything. I've said that since we started this whole thing.
So you think more people are going to stay in that house after that conversation versus one of the people packing their bags.
No, I'm saying that they're not having that conversation. I'm saying, I'm saying that they're not even having that conversation
because it would mean the end of their relationship, basically.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and like I said, I think it depends on the individuals. Like the thing about it is, like people want to belong to something. So whether it's a relationship, a big family, like whatever it is, once people find certain things of glimmer in certain things, I think it's easier for certain people to walk away versus other people, because all circumstances are different. Some people will stay in relationship because they feel that this person will give them a pretty baby. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard a bunch of, like, crazy shit that happens all the time. Someone see potential in money because this person, family, has money. You understand what I'm saying? That don't necessarily mean that they have money, but I heard this shit the other day, like, oh, shit, my cousin struck it rich. Jackpot. I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, damn, that's how bitches think. Like, because this motherfucker was related to someone who had money, this motherfucker said jackpot. And I'm just like, that's how certain women think. Like, they just think like, and
well,
it is what it is.
You know what? Also depends on your background. To me, that's a conversation of someone who is familiar with wealth or seeing how wealth works. When you're not just a thousandaire, when you're talking about millions of dollars or billions of dollars, then it's okay to naturally to assume she married Bill Gates' son. It don't have to be said that she hit the fucking jackpot. She fucking did. I'm not dealing with anybody that's having that conversation is not dealing with peons and doesn't think in a peonic way. She's thinking, hey, she hit the jackpot because that's how wealth works. It's passed down. That's just a standard for some people that don't think small. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, first of all, it don't work that way because he could be Bill Gates' son all he want to. He present a prenup. It ain't no jackpot. It's how you come the fuck in, you leave the fuck out. It's not. Well, anybody dealing with wealth,
she's got her own attorney.
Anybody dealing with wealth,
about $1 million per kid.
Anybody dealing with wealth. Majority of the time, those motherfuckers always trying to protect their own goddamn assets.
Of course they are, but wealth marries wealth. I'm sure she didn't come from a fucking...
Well, no, I'm talking about...
She has a family, too, that says, hey, if she's going to bear your children, on paper, that's $1 million per child if you divorce her. They have their own standards, too.
What proof do you have that wealth marries wealth? That's not true.
Not all the time. Well, but even when you marry wealthy, they want you to have your paperwork straight. It's cleaner for them. Especially on some damn Gates level. Okay, well, let's make the prenup in itself will make sure the woman is taken care of. They very rarely are they gonna be like, well, if you leave, you're gonna leave what you came with. Very rarely will they do that because of who they are. They want to make sure she leaves quietly and she leaves happily. So in most cases, I think those agreements for the women look mighty good. Probably nowhere near as good as the guys' portfolio, but I don't think they leave broken.
Well, I'm not saying they leave broken. I never.
So what you're ultimately saying is more people should keep their fetish a secret, and I have a really big problem with that. I really do. Honestly, we're putting all the chips on the table. I really have a big.
You must have the biggest
huge problem with that.
You must have the biggest cloud of wax in your ear I've ever seen in a human being. I did not say that. Again, I said each individual, based on the individual that you go with. You might not want to divulge that information. Just depends on
putting that type of energy. Even just telling any couples that are watching that you might not want to me is just.
Well, I mean, it happens all the time.
Level of transparency that I like to be sold.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool, but if you want to sell a fairy tale or you want to sell reality, now I'm not selling no fucking fairy tale. Now you want to sell bullshit and fairy tale shit.
It's not bullshit.
It is because you're acting like that type of shit doesn't happen all the time. It does.
Happen, but we're talking about why it shouldn't. It's not worth it. But if the person that you're in a relationship with is worth it, then just lay all the cards out on the table. If the two of you are worth it, you're gonna find a way to make it work, or if you're worth it, you're going to do each other a favor and just walk away. But there's more harm in not saying anything. You proved that by the story you told. How everything progressively got worse just because the female wasn't able to come out and say, damn, I really like the way black men stroke white pussy. I just like it. I like how they're like ruined. I like the veins are popping. Like, if you married a motherfucker, you should be able to say that. And again, alpha male, I just place a whole lot on married people. You stood in front of this motherfucker and said, till death do us part. But you can't tell him that you like black dick? That doesn't make any sense to me.
It don't make any sense.
All.
Don't make any sense. But people don't make sense. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. You're talking about like this world runs so smooth, and the rainbows give us Skittles. Like rainbows give us what? You can't put that
fucking fetish.
You can't put that on a conversation. Anything. I'm talking reality. You're trying to put it on me like I'm saying something that's inaccurate. I'm just talking fact. Okay, so talk and deal with fact is what I'm saying. How it should be, rainbows and that. I should be having fucking threesomes every fucking weekend. But does that happen? No. Like, I'm talking in fucking fact.
Okay, but this is why we lead people to relations. So that they could hear people like me say, just tell. What's the worst that could happen? Now that's where you could come in. Well, the worst that could happen is a bitch can get beat up. She can get a divorce.
I was about to say that. Someone can get murdered. Someone could have just murdered someone. So like, give an example. Is like, if I'm married and I murder someone, I'm not telling my wife. Like, that's not a burden that I would put on my wife, because 9 times out of 10, my wife is too fucking L7 to handle any of that type of pressure or going on with that type of scenario. Like, everything can't be just exposed. You got to know this individual. There's certain levels, and for people to sit there, of all people, you to act like that don't happen. That's fine. Now, if you want to talk about like just like simple shit and whatever this and that, that's, hey, you want to do that, that's fine. Or keep some shit or say some shit that's going to split up our marriage. I'm with that too. I don't care about nothing about that. If you want to say I'm Mexican and you like black dick, and then you tell me that, and I say, cool, go find a black dick. And
and what I'm gonna say is, damn, me just telling you that I like to watch black porn because I have a fantasy about black dick is gonna make you tell me to leave.
So let me ask you a question.
Why did you marry me?
Hold on. So let me ask you a question, because he thought you didn't like black dick. But let me ask you a question though. So let me ask you a question though. So now, because I'm glad you was going that route. So you said because you like to watch. Now before you said that, hey, what's wrong with going to the swingers club and getting her some black dick and going to buy some black dick and this and that?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's your delivery. Your delivery of, hey, I just like to watch porn is way different than I want to go get some. Well,
we never said what the verbiage would be. That's it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Be smart about it. But to expose that about yourself to your spouse, to me, is more about being married than not saying.
But when someone but see, the thing about giving up a truth, 9 times out of 10, a truth comes with no filter. Even though that sounds right, a lie comes with a lot of filters versus the truth. The truth is the shit that most people don't want to hear. So when you tell someone the truth, like, she might have discovered that she liked to be with black men. Probably not in the beginning part of it. That's just something that you just kind of starting to get. But like you said, now that's time going by. So now he is in the flip side of what you're talking about, because he now has the right to say,
well, when did this start?
But he also can say, why'd you fucking marry me? You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what's gonna make him start feeling lesser of a person. Because one little thing that sounds minuscule, and that's the thing with a lot of women. Women think that little small things sometimes that are minuscule. Or I'll just take that away. I'm gonna just say people. People, certain things they think are minuscule. So you saying, well, hey, that's just a fetish or this and that. No, it's not.
Yeah, because I like eating pussy doesn't make me a lesbian. Period.
Okay.
It doesn't make me want to marry a woman.
But
it
guess
doesn't
what?
make me want to hold
And if
hands
you
with
was
a woman
and
in
if you
public.
and if you was married,
adopt a child with her.
Guess what?
I just like to lick a little pussy every now and then.
that's right. And
no
guess
big
what?
deal.
And guess what? And Walker don't feel that way. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's different strokes for different folks. Like he don't fucking feel that way. And that's why I'm trying to show you that all men, even though that don't sound like something to you, I'm not saying I was agreeing with him, but what I'm saying is his belief in that shit was so strong that he almost looked at a threesome like yuck. Like, I ain't having nobody go down on my woman and eat her pussy and this and that. And that's something that's coming from a man. And he a street nigga and the whole nine, rap the whole nine. And most people would assume because he a rapper
that
he
they are
should,
having threesomes.
that he should be into that shit and this and that. And that's not fact. It's not true. So when he said it, that's why I was like, you know what? When you be thinking that most men will go for certain things, they might not. So if Tammy was like, let me surprise my baby, then she bring a girl in because they sex life ain't going smooth, this and that. If she don't know him, you get what I'm saying?
She would make that mistake.
That shit gonna go.
But because she does know her spouse, she wouldn't do that.
Exactly. So that's
and
why.
she probably, if she had a dream about being with a woman, she probably wouldn't wake up from that dream and say, hey, honey, I had a dream about being with a girl. Because she knows it's a problem for him. So I get what you're saying. I'm making sense of what you're saying is facts and what really happens in real life. But what I'm also saying is it's really sad that if she ever has that fantasy, she already knows what the outcome is going to be.
Exactly.
But she should still be able to share.
And that's all I was saying. But that's the thing. Now we're going right back again to an individual. See, sometimes if you tell an individual, like if I'm out in the store somewhere and I see a girl, this and that, and I see a woman, and then I'm with my lady. We not in the threesomes, we just in the regular shit, and I'm looking at this chick. If I say, damn, I wouldn't mind to be with this chick or the cashier, this and that. Every time my woman come in there now, she gonna be looking at that cashier. Something in her mind could fracture because I was being honest and saying I'm attracted to the woman, and she
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say
that
that is the type of woman that you shouldn't be with.
Well, but that was my whole thing from get go. Like sometimes if you divulge certain things to individuals. If you divulge certain things to individuals, those type of things do pop up because you really don't know how this individual is going to act. Sometimes you don't know. You might have a clue. Like some people have a clue. Like if someone break into the house, you ask 10 women, is he going to make it out the house with your man in there? Some going to be like, he'll probably kill all of us. I'm gonna be like, he walk in here, my man laying everything down in his house. Mm-hmm. Like some women kind of know they men, so they tiptoe around certain questions and certain things, and I think vice versa. Certain men also will tiptoe around certain things around a woman just because they know they just know they woman. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It sounds good to give up everything. In a perfect world, I would say, hey, hunky dory. But I'm just saying that a lot of people settle, and there are still people who be married like 10 years, and there's still something about that they spouse or significant other that's being done behind closed doors that they just don't know.
I just think that is a miserable situation in a home. If you are under the roof with someone who there's something that you like and there's something that you desire, and you cannot go to them and at least Google it so you can watch it on Pornhub together, have a conversation about it. If there isn't just the little minimum that you could give to your partner as to support on that certain fetish, I think you're doing yourself a really huge disservice. I'm not saying the person has to participate. I'm not saying that they can't even say, well, hey, that's below my standard. Mm-hmm. But to expose yourself to your lover is love. And for you to be accepting and tolerant of your lover is love. I don't think there's a gray area for that. I really don't. And I still might be talking from a standpoint of someone who's never been in that situation. So it's easy for me to say. I'm not giving up anything. I'm not going to risk, my husband walking out on me. So it's easy for me to say, but I can say this. Transparency about what I like in sex has only been positive for me. So at least I am drawing off the experience, because I am someone who says, you know what, I do like this. Oh yeah, I watched lesbian porn growing up. And then I had a roommate who actually liked homosexual porn. And I watched it one day. And it grossed me out. But there were some things that I noticed that I like about this or that. Like, I think it's important that doesn't mean I expect my spouse to now watch gay porn with me. I don't expect that. But I expect to be able to say to my spouse that I like some pretty freaky shit and to not be judged. And I want to do that because now I want to open up the door for him to tell me some freaky shit that he might like. Well, that's really weird.
Well, let me say this. I don't think the part that you're talking about, I understand that part.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying there's certain things, if I take a few steps back as far as saying what could possibly end somebody's relationship. So there are things that I feel like you can divulge, and it just might not bother that person enough to dead the relationship.
Yeah.
But that what you are talking about, I'm just saying I feel like that could dead a relationship if you're talking about a individual and you're talking about race. Because certain race or religion,
I get that.
They hold
culture. Yeah, a lot of that has to do with whether a person will stay in a situation or not. I totally get that. I think for me, the biggest thing was what happens if you just don't say anything. How big of a spider web or conundrum can you actually find yourself in if you're actually at the point where you're married to somebody and you're keeping all your fetishes in a shoebox?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like could be such a big backfire, a huge backfire.
I mean, it could be a backfire, but I encourage that. I mean, I think people just know the individuals of just who they with, and if they with that individual, there are certain things that I feel could, like once you do that, and once she did that, it did.
It fractured the relationship. Let me ask you something, which might have to roll into our next show because we're coming at the top of the hour. But what about the worth of the person that you're in the relationship with? And I know I said that a lot, but we didn't stop and elaborate on the value that the person that you're in a relationship with has. I know I was just going on when I was saying, hey, she made $85,000 a year. She got 3 cars on. Y'all got 4 cars. I was saying all that because there's a certain amount of value in this relationship that we're talking about. We're not talking about no side hoes that you got I'm talking about your wife, the person that you reside with, wake up with, and sleep with. The value of that person should have everything to do with that decision you're making to tell or not to tell. And we're going to pick up on the value of your spouse on next week's episode of Relations. You can follow me on Facebook at Kana Lassiter, on Twitter at Kana Lassiter, and also on IG at Kana Lassiter.
And you know who it is. It's your boy. Reach me on both platforms, Twitter and IG, 51 Spade. Peace.